Hey there, MadFest. How we doing? Appreciate the applause. Anyway, we're going to start this thing with a big fat disclaimer like you see on the pack of cigarettes. The insights I'm about to share may or may not be directly applicable to your brand. I come with humility. It's the stuff that works for us. It's a little bit counterintuitive. That's why it's called How Doing the Wrong Thing Can Be Right. So first off, what the hell is Liquid Death? Liquid Death, we're a beverage company. We're out of Los Angeles. And we believe in entertainment-first marketing above all else. We make still water, sparkling water, mountain-sourced. We have sparkling flavors, natural agave. It's healthy stuff, low calorie. And we have iced tea as well. The thing we're known for, even beyond the product, though, is the marketing and the name. Why are we called Liquid Death? Well, we murder your thirst, and we're all about death to plastic, single-use plastic. We're here, though, more to talk about the marketing. And we do some wild stuff. We do some fun stuff. We believe in entertainment first. So let me get into it, show you a bit, and it's even from one of your countrymen. This is something we dropped last week on a new product called Death Dust.
Hey! No way!
Ozzy Osbourne?
Death Dust, take it from me. Don't snort that stuff.
We weren't planning on snorting it.
Yeah, we're gonna mix it with water and hydrate.
It's got electrolytes, which your body needs.
Yeah, it's delicious.
Whatever you do, don't try freebasing it.
Free what?
And never, ever inject it.
And how would we even...
And don't even think about boofing it, you little perverts.
Boof?
You know, where you stick it up your own.
We got Ozzy to say boofing. He didn't exactly know what that was, but what a sport. Entertainment first is really important to us. We're hardly the originators of this brand strategy. I mean, famously, Monster and Red Bull have done it for years. Where their lane is action sports, our lane is comedy. The reason I think this is super important if you're a marketer in the audience or a brand is that the information ecosystem we all swim in is irreparably fractured. Once upon a time, it was good enough. You slot yourself in the commercial break, and if you're mildly interesting, if you're ad funny, maybe you're memorable. Not anymore. You are competing with the feed. You're competing with the algorithm. And in fact, the next counterintuitive piece for perhaps some is that your competition are actually not your competitors. It's all the content out there on the internet. Our strategy is to be the funniest and best thing you see in your feed. It's not necessarily what others need or should do. Perhaps it's being earnest or educational. But we look at this bar and we honor it. It is a very high bar. We're out there soliciting an involuntary reaction. But when we do, if we do it right, it then becomes a shareable piece. It isn't flicked away in 400 milliseconds. It's liked, engaged, commented on, and the algorithm pushes it out to more and more people. Within just 5 years, I think we're the third most followed beverage brand on the planet. We do so with a fairly unique approach. We have a writer's room. We have actual stand-up comedians on our team. We have folks that have written for Adult Swim, for movies, for The Onion, satirical news. And we always look to do something unexpected. Tension is pretty huge. So you see metal water right here, and you might think rock and roll, heavy metal. You probably won't think cosmetics. That's why we did a partnership with Elf. We'll take a look here.
He's so dreamy.
Corpse paint? Cool! Corpse paint!
Learn of your eyes, lips, and face like your favorite celebs. Corpse paint from Liquid Death and Elf. Each corpse paint coffin comes with 5 super cute styling pieces.
Wow, this pen is so precise, but the coverage is awesome too. It's just perfect.
Now you can look as dark on the outside as you are on the inside.
Super cute contouring, Addison. Love the look, Piper.
Thanks, Glowthar. Hey guys, who wants vegan goat blood? Glowthar?
Deborah?
Glowthar, I haven't seen you in like 15 years.
Mom? Dad?
Corpse paint!
Get yours while supplies last at elfcosmetics.com/corpsepaint.
That's the stuff we do. There was a mild incest reference at the end of that. So when we came together with Elf, it's important that everything we do is really real. So we really did sell these corpse paint kits. We really pretended as though that was the biggest teen makeup trend, this corpse paint inspired by Kiss and black metal. And beyond that, we did something interesting. We contracted the top 5 or maybe 10 makeup influencers to do corpse paint in their feed. So the day this launched, if you were a young woman, maybe you didn't see the spot, but all of a sudden your favorite makeup influencers are putting on corpse paint like it's the next big trend. You can imagine with things like this, and especially with comedy, it's not for everybody's taste, and we can get a little pushback and we can get some haters. And the thing that I will say that, again, is counterintuitive for some is you must embrace the hate. You must embrace the haters. We look at something that is internally called the ratio. So when we put a piece of content out there and it gets tens of thousands of likes, thousands of comments, but it might have 20 bits of negative comment in there, we did pretty good. That's like 1,000 to 1 odds. I think many brands respond to the heckler's veto, and it's the wrong thing to do. We have taken those verbatim hate comments and made a series of albums we call the Greatest Hates. The first one was heavy metal, the next one was punk, and then last summer we came out with a very Madonna-inspired power pop, verbatim hater comments. It plays on something pretty deep and innate. It's in-group, out-group psychology. The tribe you're with, the clan you're with, and the one you're against. And I think a lot of brands get one side of it right, and they talk about what they stand for, what they're for, but they rarely define the out-group. That's what we do when we make the hate comment albums and this spot I'm about to show you right here. It helps define what we're not. And what we aren't is somebody that takes ourselves too seriously, somebody without a sense of humor. This one right here was another thing we did with our haters. I'll let it speak for itself.
Liquid Death water took over the as the worst water.
Literally the worst water I have ever tasted.
Can we go ahead and get him wired up? We're just gonna put that around the skin. Make sure it's up all the way.
Now it is.
Okay, cool, thanks. Okay, go ahead. I'm not noticing too big of differences.
That one didn't taste like anything.
Definitely gonna have to double back.
Oh man.
Forgot what the first one's for the taste like.
Like the differences are very, very subtle.
So I guess the worst one. Pick the worst water.
Okay. I think it was it? No, one of these was really bad, but it was in.
I think this is the liquid death.
All right. Oh man.
You were wrong.
Yeah, very wrong.
I guess liquid death isn't the worst water out here.
It's not bad. I guess I was wrong. Not the worst water I've ever tasted.
I'm sorry. I would buy y'all's product now.
Liquid Death, officially not the worst water 2 guys from the internet have ever tasted.
You know what? If there is an unsung hero at Liquid Death, it is our legal department. I have been giving them ulcers for 3 years, and I'm going to import those claps, and those go over. But this is all about being bold, right? I think that was a fairly bold approach to the haters of the world. Another thing that, again, could be the wrong thing, it is embracing small budgets. It's what I call budget haiku. When you have a small budget, it puts so much pressure on the actual idea, the thing that will be shareable. You can't hide behind production. And let's face it, the vast majority of the people you're connecting with are finding you through a phone. And that beautiful piece of film you shot on a Phantom camera that was perfectly edited is about the size of a postage stamp by the time it comes through the screen. We have a small bets approach where something like what I'm about to show you here that wound up with tens of millions of views, 30 grand, small, quick, easy to do. And we have a portfolio of those. We go out, we shoot it quick, we are in-house from concept through to production, which allows us to be quick and nimble. And the ones that do well like this, yeah, we can put a few bucks of boost behind it. That allows us to save money for bigger things, a celebrity that we might work with or otherwise, that again in that stock portfolio is a bit more of a blue chip. When you have this approach, you wind up with a really interesting kind of flywheel with your marketing. You can put a ton of content out, let the market see what does well, let the algorithm tell you what works. We then take that content and put it in an ad-expected environment, so think YouTube pre-roll, and we look at through view. Do people skip right away, to get to what they were looking to watch, or do they watch our content? If we get favorable response there, then we can elevate to something like connected TV or broadcast that's better. This small bets and small dollar approach definitely gets you a thank you note from the CFO if you take it seriously. So here's Chest Blaster, an idea that went from concept to production in about 7 days, 30 grand.
With other workout devices, there's no easy way to hydrate. But now there's the Chest Blaster by Liquid Death. It may look just like a can of Liquid Death, but the Chest Blaster harnesses the power of hydrodynamic inertia to sculpt, tone, and completely hydrate in a fraction of the time of other devices. Workouts that used to take hours now last only about 20 seconds. Simply grip it and rip it while you sip it. How fast can you blast? See how you measure up against friends, or go for the world record. But why stop there? Blast your back, your abs, even double blast. Choose from still, flavored sparkling, or iced tea. This breakthrough in advanced hydromuscular training can be yours starting at just $2.19 per can. So, what are you waiting for? Take the Liquid Death Chest Blaster Challenge for yourself today.
A lot of what we're doing is just making fun of ad tropes, finding one after the next. The last little bit that I'll give you here is truly to embrace anything. Nothing is impossible. I think one of the mistakes some make is over-planning. One of the things we're pretty good at Liquid Death is stitching the parachute on the way down. A few years ago, Netflix had a fun documentary called Pepsi, Where's My Jet? And it aired over Christmas time. And I got a call on Christmas Eve from our CEO and founder, Mike, and he said, I need a jet. I need a jet right away. I need a Harrier. We have to do this. We have to get this in market. So I spent that holiday break trying to source a Harrier. Turns out all of them are here. Had conversations with Department of Defense, realized those are really, really expensive things and virtually impossible to give away. So 2 years ago, we weren't able to make it happen. But months ago in February, the idea came back. And Mike said, you know what? Maybe it need not be a Harrier. What if we just find an actual fighter jet? We can call it the dehydrator, and let's give that thing away. We went from that idea to sourcing, buying, painting, filming a jet, getting point of sale in stores, and launching this content in a little under 4 months. It can be done. Just do it. So here's an example of the campaign that's running right now.
This summer, Liquid Death is giving away an actual jet. And anyone who's 18 or older like me can win it. Yeah, it's 100% a real jet. You might remember a kid back in the 90s who thought he won a jet from a giant soda company, but then the soda company said it was all a joke. So he took them to court and he lost. But Liquid Death is not joking at all. In fact, they're even throwing in 6 months of free hangar space. They're calling this thing the dehydrator because with a top speed of about 470 miles per hour, it'll relieve you of your bodily fluids and make you empty your stomach. That's why they're also throwing in a year's supply of Liquid Death to help you rehydrate. You just have to walk into a physical store to buy Liquid Death and text the qualified receipt. And get this, every can is an entry. So who wants to puke and pee their pants? I know I do. The more Liquid Death you buy, the more chances you have to own an actual
You know, years ago when our founder Mike had this idea, everyone told him nobody would drink something called Liquid Death. It's impossible. And even if they did, there isn't a retailer on the planet that is going to put something that looks like beer in the water aisle. It couldn't happen. But what we found to be true is that it was the only thing to do in a crowded space, to massively stand out, to make something that begs you to stop and look at it, to pick it up off the shelf and even share it on social media. So in our case, that wrong thing proved to be very right. So thanks a bunch, and I hope we have time for questions.
Thank you, Daniel. Some fantastic content, and I think the point you just made is really fascinating, that how else would you differentiate when you're launching something completely new into a sea of sameness? So it's a really great point. So one of the questions I have from the audience, from Ollie, is what role does experiential kind of play overall in your strategy kind of moving forward?
A massive role. I mean, Liquid Death is intentionally disguised to look like a beer. We're taking all the marketing and the tropes of beer. So it's very confusing to people when they first see it. They presume it's beer or energy. There's no doubt about that. But there is something that happens when you crack the can, when you hold it. It is more than the sum of its parts. If you're not drinking, for example, it makes fitting into those social and nightlife experiences easy. If you're a kid, it's dangerous party water. So experiential is great, and that's part of our strategy. We've been here in the UK just since last year, and we're making sure we're at cool festivals, cool bars, tattoo shops, and all the rest.
Nice. So part of the actual brand and the product look and feel is deliberately designed to actually allow that connection into kind of more fun, kind of where alcohol would normally be. Is that true? Right.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
Okay, interesting. I'm sure not every idea ends up going to market. Some of it ends up on the cutting floor. How do you determine what are the right ideas that are going to fly?
You know, there's a lot of art and science behind any good idea, and I think we focus as an industry way too much on the science and not the art. So we have a very small creative team. It could fit in an SUV legally. That's how small it is. And we have a writer's room approach. We pitch and bring ideas together, and some of the big feedback from Mike is simply, I didn't see anybody laughing. It's not funny enough. That cut needs to go back. There's something we're missing, or maybe the idea just simply isn't there. I think sometimes those simple things are really the pieces that win, and evaluating and getting through all the data and focus grouping doesn't quite get the job done.
Right, got it. And it sounds like your founder, CEO, is pretty kind of marketing literate and pretty pro-marketing. Do you have challenges? Are there challenges that come with that?
In fact, quite the opposite. Being creatively led is a superpower of Liquid Death that I think few have. If you want to be bold, isn't that the theme of all of MadFest right now? Mm-hmm. You can only be as bold or daring as the top person in your organization that can say no. I think in most companies, all these ideas could get shot down 100 different ways. Right. Tasing your haters, buying a jet, flying a jet, doing loop-de-loops, all that kind of stuff. PR could say it's too risky. Legal could say no way. But we're very fortunate that Mike is bold and says yes.
Yeah, you got leadership from the top. And the tasers thing was just inspired. So one last question from Kian in the audience. You've mentioned you do not overplan, but how do you approach insights that then lead to strategy and ideas?
We've seen the brand evolve quite a bit. We started with just this earned media entertainment approach. We'll never leave that. There's no doubt about that. But as we get bigger, we find new audiences and we have new challenges. And so I think Jet is a great example of an insight where we wanted to see and needed to see if our marketing could drive more people into the store. And so that was the idea that every can is an entry. It's like a lottery ticket you can drink. You go into the store, you buy, you text us your receipt, and away we go. We get a bunch of great data. So we're constantly evolving and finding new challenges.
Amazing. Well, thank you, Dan. A great presentation. Please put your hand together for Dan.
Cheers,
from
everybody.
Liquid Death.
Thanks.
And I'm looking forward to the memes of people shaking water all over them later on outside MadFest.